What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Heavyweight Nation podcast. And today we are joined all the way out in Minnesota, Michael Blockhus, 2023 All-American and now professional MMA fighter. Michael, welcome on the podcast.
What's up? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's a pleasure to have you on. About 2 hours ago, we sat down and got the opportunity to talk to your teammate and someone he calls your best friend, Pat McKee. So it's super cool. We got a big Minnesota day today, which is awesome. We don't really get a lot of opportunities to talk to you guys out in Minnesota. So it's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Pat's video will be out before yours, so all the fans out there could listen to Pat praise your name for a little bit as he did, man. So we kind of want to just get started from the beginning. Who do you think you could give some credit to and talk a little bit about, where you started wrestling? Talk about who created Michael Blockhus.
Yeah, I mean, I was about 5 or 6 years old when I started, but I was kind of just this energetic kid with a lot of energy, and I guess I would say it's confidence, but a lot of people say I was a cocky little kid. And my mom's like, all right, we're going to teach this little shit a lesson. And she threw me in a wrestling practice room to get my butt beat, and I ended up being pretty decent at it. Went to the kindergarten state tournament and placed at that. So since then, it's just been one hell of a ride, and here I am now, I guess.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've heard so much about the similar situations through all these elite level guys. Pretty much everyone we've talked to so far has said, my parents couldn't handle me in the house because I was so crazy. So they put me in a wrestling room, and the success kind of just brewed from there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've dealt with kids at camps and stuff, and you get 50 to 100 little kids running around. That's a lot to deal with. I mean, I couldn't imagine living with one right now for every day of the entire.
I'm sure. I think a lot of young people that are, don't have little siblings were like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how, especially the 5-6 year old range. Oh, couldn't do that one. No,
for sure.
Definitely not. But you find yourself in Minnesota. So what was your high school recruiting process like? What was that, kind of like for you? Or was it always Minnesota?
No, it actually wasn't. I went to University of Northern Iowa for a few years. It was kind of just a mutual agreement, like me leaving there. But my freshman year, I ended up actually qualifying for nationals during that COVID year when it got canceled. Just being a small town Iowa boy, it was kind of a place where I felt right. And a lot of the guys I've looked up to throughout high school were wrestling there. Max Thompson, Bryce Dyer, Taylor Lujan, a lot of these guys that were really good wrestlers. And then that COVID year came. We had, Taylor Lujan was number one. Bryce Dyer was probably top 5. Max Thompson was up there. So Jacob Schwarm, we had a hell of a team going into this COVID tournament for a small college at Northern Iowa. And that tournament ended up getting canceled, whatever. And then went through that whole summer kind of just really rethinking things and where I really wanted to be. Those guys all graduated. And I just opened up, went into the transfer portal, just try something new. When I was going through the recruiting process in high school, I really wanted to get out of state, but I didn't do it. And then I kind of rethought about it, and I was like, let's go in the portal, see what happens. And a lot of people needed a 149 pounder that year, I guess. So my phone was blowing up, and Minnesota just seemed like the right fit. Pat McKee, I've known him just from the last name, and we were in some of those same weight classes. But little did I know, I came to Minnesota and I gained a brother out of it. Him, Mitchell, they were here when I came in. Owen Webster. These guys are kind of like my tight knit little circle of people, and I wouldn't change anything for the world. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made, and the coaching staff, everyone. It's like a big family knit atmosphere around here, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, man. Pat McKee kind of said the same thing, that when you got to Minnesota, it was kind of like an instant click for you guys, and we heard him say that he's gonna go ahead and after next year. And when he gets healthy and competes, one more season, he's going to go ahead and meet you down in Florida is his plan. So it's awesome to hear. And we know his brother as well is down already in Florida training. So, you're kind of bringing, yourself, being able to bring a guy like Pat McKee with you, down to Florida. I'm sure everybody down there is pretty excited for that.
Yeah, for sure. They got a whole squad of killers down there. If you look up Kill Cliff FC and you see the guys that are in their gym, you got a full list of hammers, and they've actually had to split it into a couple practices now because we got the gym so full and people want to be a part of that. Not only is it just a good gym full of these good people, it's also full of quality people. You don't get that tight knit family atmosphere everywhere, especially at the professional level where people get a little selfish. These people down there, I mean, it's a family down there, and they all care about one another. So I'm excited. It'll be a good time, and we also got a whole crew of Minnesota boys coming down there, and we like to think, I mean, the Minnesota boys are going to take over the MMA field one day. You got Pat McKee, Mitchell McKee, Michael Blockhus, Logan Storley, hopefully Gable Stevenson. I mean, that's the plan. So we're looking to take that game over.
That would be super exciting to see. I know a lot of people, when Gable signed that WWE contract, a lot of people were like, man, we wish he wanted to go put the gloves on. But Pat said that he has taken some training trips down with you guys, and he's trained MMA as well, and I think it'd be crazy. I think that'd be one person I'd be scared of, to like look across the cage and I see Gable Stevenson fully tatted with crazy animal tattoos and stuff like that. I'd be like, man, I don't know if I want to fight that guy.
Not only that, I mean, he's most athletic heavyweight.
Oh yeah, I was, but not even touching on that too. Is one of the most athletic wrestlers. Not even just heavyweights, just a crazy athlete in general.
Yeah, I mean, I get to work out, do some private things with him, and we hit mitts, and that dude can hit hard. So if he does make the transition over, it'll be one scary thing.
Yeah, like a reverse Brock Lesnar,
Yeah.
Just go to WWE, then UFC.
For sure, yeah. He looks up to Brock a lot, and he's kind of taking that route, and he's a lot more athletic than Brock, so it's going to be scary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. Super exciting, man. So talk a little bit about have you always wanted to be a fighter, or was there somebody that kind of inspired you and wanted to take on the fight game, and what has that transition so far kind of been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I always knew I kind of wanted to do it, but really it wasn't until I was about a freshman, sophomore in college. A guy at Wartburg named Puna, he's in the UFC now, but he's a guy I looked up to as a wrestler, and I stayed at his house. He wrestled at Wartburg. He's best friends with my club coaches and one of my buddies, Kenny Anderson. So I kind of got to know who he was a little bit, and then watched him go into the UFC, and I was like, damn, I think I can do that one day. And then I just started boxing in my basement by myself, basic things, just not really knowing what I was doing, just hitting a bag, getting a feel for it. Then, I mean, 2 years ago, I really took it in and really started focusing on just little basic things with a buddy. His name's Billy. He's down in Prior Lake. He just loves the sport. He never really fought. He did one MMA fight just to say he did it and get in a cage, but he really cares about, me and the McKees, and we just been training out of his basement since, and I'm actually getting decent at it. So it'll be really scary when I get down to that professional gym and start rolling with all these high level guys.
Yeah. Pat kind of touched on that as well. Talked about Billy a little bit, and how he has been super gracious to let you guys get in his basement and, use the mat and sauna and being able to hit the bag and stuff like that. And, just some good times, you've shared. So, obviously this year was a big year for you. You get yourself an All-American status, and what kind of was going through your mind, mentally, that you decided to hang up the shoes and that you would go ahead and transition into MMA?
Yeah, I mean, I finally got it done. It's an All-American, it's something I've dreamed about since I was a little kid. And I've known previous years that I've had the ability to AA. This year it was just a matter of saying F you to the guy in front of me and going out there and beating him, and really just going out and doing my thing, The thing that really went through my head, right after NCAAs, I was planning on wrestling again. Before I thought it out, I was on that postseason high. And after I really thought about it, and MMA is a short time period. I don't want to start when I'm 27 years old, whatever. And it just takes a while to get to the belt. And I'm 23 right now. And by the time I fight, I'll be almost 24. And I really want to get that process going. And I know I'm going to be really good at MMA, even better than I am at wrestling. And that's what I 100% believe, just because I'm athletic and I got the mindset to go do whatever I want to do. So, yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing for me was just this time period and just getting it going now, I'm looking to do 5 fights in 12 months, kind of get put on a faster paced career than a lot of people do, just because I'm going in a little bit ahead of the game. I've been striking for a couple years, and I can really develop fast down there. So Yeah, I'm looking forward to fighting at the end of summer and just getting this show on the road, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. And MMA is something, it's better to get into earlier. And it sounds like you got a nice little start here, and you're going to, like you said, develop pretty quickly.
For sure.
100%. And how do you think, in just your opinion, what do you think that the pipeline between college wrestling and UFC is going to do, and Bellator, any type of MMA? What do you think that's going to do for combat sports in general? Is that, as wrestling is growing, I feel like UFC, Bellator, all that stuff is also growing.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, you look at the past years of champs, the majority of them are wrestlers, right? I think there was that one period of time when Cejudo, Usman, all these guys were champs, Cormier, and they were all wrestlers, good college wrestlers. And there was maybe a couple of people that didn't wrestle. And you can just see how wrestling is the backbone of MMA. If you're not very good at wrestling, you're probably not going to be very good when you get taken down and punched in the face, One thing, it's like a quote Michael Chandler said, is they asked him what belt he had in jiu-jitsu or whatever. Obviously, you need good jiu-jitsu and stuff, but he said, I got a black belt in wrestling. And that kind of stuck to me, like, stick to what you're good at, and especially wrestlers, their mindset's just different than a lot of people. Like, Taekwondo, all that stuff, like, it all helps, but nothing teaches you the good mindset of like a wrestler does. You go through the grit day in, day out, and that you learn how to battle and through everything, adversities, failures, and not a lot of people had that growing up.
Yeah. And I think not even that, but part of the sport of wrestling, a large part is the weight cut. And I feel like wrestling, being especially at your level, a college wrestler, I'm sure you've had to do some pretty difficult weight cuts. And I'm sure, that's only going to prep you mentally and physically for when you get down to fight, when you're at fight camp in that last week, you got to get on the scale at the end of the week and, be ready to weigh in. So I'm sure that's going to help a ton as well.
For sure. I mean, not a lot of people have wrestled a national tournament 3 days in a row where you make weight that morning, you wrestle all day, you make weight or you go to the hotel, cut weight, wake up the next morning, wrestle, go back, cut weight. Same thing the next day. 3 days long. I mean, that's what I really enjoyed about NCAAs was just that grit and having to really dig down deep, and everybody's hurting. If you're not hurting at the NCAA tournament, you're lying to yourself and you're lying to everyone else. Everyone's got some dings and stuff they're dealing with, but it's really just a matter of who's got the stronger mindset and really wants it, And one thing our coaches preach is like, go take it from that guy, especially when he might be feeling hurt, whatever, down on himself, then go take it. He doesn't want it as bad as you. And that's the mindset you really have going into the NCAA tournament. And with MMA weigh-ins, I mean, you have a whole day and a half.
You don't weigh in that same day like in wrestling.
No. So you'll be rehydrated and all this stuff by the next night if you do it right.
So let's just say, right, what weight are you going to fight at?
I'll be 145.
Yeah. So what do you think you'll weigh in? You would be weighing at fight night. So let's just say you cut down to 45. What's like the average? Because I'm not a big MMA like at least knowledge guy. So what's like the average like weight they get back up to after a weight cut like that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on how much you're actually cutting.
Yeah.
Right now,
I've seen McGregor, someone go up to 20 pounds more the next day.
Yeah.
Just rehydrating.
I would probably be in that like 15-pound range, 12, 15, depending.
Yeah. So you'd probably be up to like 155, 160.
For sure. Yeah. I'll be over 155. Yeah. Maybe probably 160.
I mean, you see Patty Pimblett go from 200 and something pounds all the way down and then keep doing it. And the next day he's 50 pounds heavier.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff he's doing to his body, that can't be good.
Yeah, no, but some people do that,
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see you fight. I'm excited. I really am excited to see, just the culture at Minnesota kind of change, because for so long it was, Brock Lesnar did WWE, Brock Lesnar's from Minnesota, Brock Lesnar fought in the UFC, like all this. And I'm excited to see some new names. And let me just say, Minnesota has really developed itself as if you go to Minnesota, you could come out a really good fighter as well as a really good wrestler. So is that something that you want to kind of change the culture there to make Minnesota kind of like a branch off of you go to Minnesota and you wrestle and you do well, you can now go fight?
Yeah. I mean, we got all the resources in the world. You look at the guys that have graduated from Minnesota. We have multiple people in WWE now. We got Brock Lesnar, Gable, obviously.
Yep, Gable's brother.
His brother.
Yeah.
There's another one that's God, I'm drawing a blank on. He just came to one of our duels, but anyways, that's 4 guys in the WWE right now, and they're crushing that. Not only that, we got the MMA field, right? We got multiple guys going into the MMA, and they're successful at it. Logan Storley was a world champion within the last year, and we got just outside athletics, we got guys that are in the business field, real estate, they're crushing it. Viking, like all these different companies, they're killing it just because of the resources that we have here, being in the cities and at Minnesota.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's a lot of things like people don't realize is, a lot of these guys that go to college and wrestle, they're looking for their future. And I feel like pretty much anybody who's a D1 wrestler, you will have a job as soon as you graduate, whether it's fighting, whether it's performance like WWE, or whether it's you're in a business office at a Fortune 500 company. Because I feel like wrestling just opens so many doors more than just, getting that mental, that mentality that you gain being a college wrestler.
Yeah, for sure. I was just business owner this last weekend, and he's like, just put D1 Division 1 college wrestler on your application. I don't need to see anymore. I was like, sweet.
Yeah, 100%. Because I'm sure, it's been a little different for you, kind of going through these college stuff, and now you're kind of going to go out on your own, and train UFC. So I'm sure it's a little bit of a different situation, now. So I'm going to kind of throw it over to Matt. He has some questions for you, kind of let the fans get to know you a little bit better, and I'll let Matt take it away here.
It's a question we've asked a couple times, but this is going to be a little different for you because now you could use this in your MMA career. Favorite walkout song?
Favorite walkout song? I'm going to stick to Bad to the Bone. I did it in wrestling, and I'm going to do it in the MMA field too. They made a joke this year. Guy was commentating. He's like, Bad to the Bone, Blockhus looks like a guy that's all tatted up and be riding a Harley down Cresco, Iowa. And I did that little post, and then on the next thing, I was on a Harley freaking riding the streets.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, definitely. Bad to the Bone, that's a good one to walk out to in MMA, wrestling, whatever you do. But yeah, for sure. We've asked this one also a couple times, but favorite wrestling shoe you've ever worn through high school, middle school, college?
Ooh, that's tough. I have a couple maybe. The Rulons are always the OG to go to, just a quality shoe with good grip. I also really like the International Lights when those came out a couple of years ago, but then they always stopped selling these good shoes like everyone loves. The Freaks, I know a lot of people love Freaks, and they just quit selling them. I don't know. Makes no sense. They're trying to get something new out there.
The market value. They jack up the market value now. Like, I know. What would you say? Those 3 shoes I pretty much every episode someone has either said the Rulons, the Internationals, or the Freaks. I think those are just like staple 3 or hyper sweeps. That's
combat speeds.
Combat speeds, not hyper sweeps. Combat speeds. We heard so many people say combat speeds too, but yeah, I mean, I feel like wrestling shoes are such a big part of the sport. I don't think a lot of people realize it's like if you get a really good pair of shoes, you're most likely going to wrestle better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you don't want a big old bulky shoe. Maybe it looks cool, but you're gonna wrestle like shit if you feel like shit.
Yeah.
I've seen people wrestle with boxing boots before, and let me tell you, not a good idea.
No. Yeah, no. But obviously being a wrestler, you're gonna have a favorite neutral attack. So what was your favorite neutral attack in college, and will that change through MMA?
I would say I'm pretty basic. Like I like to hit like an outside step, just because that's how I feel. I step outside when I shoot like doubles, high crotches, which in MMA that's exactly what you do. You punch in straight to your outside step and you drive through. Right. The finishing in MMA is a little bit different. Like you want to land with your head on the opposite side, things like that. But that and a single leg, basic single leg, which it's gonna transition over perfectly. I'm not gonna be hitting fucking super ducks and all this low pick singles and stuff sometimes maybe, but
that would be crazy if I saw you in an MMA fight and you hit a super duck. Oh dude, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, that should be bonus points on the scorer's card if you hit a super duck. And
it
was crazy because one of our old college teammates just had his first MMA fight, and
he was second fight,
and he hit a fireman's carry mid fight.
Mhm.
And I was
I
like,
have seen that before. Storley's done that. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Mhm.
I was like,
He also hit a suplex.
yeah, suplex,
Yeah.
a super like a, I'm like I've never seen somebody hit a fireman's carry, and
Yeah, no,
No.
that's crazy.
It's pretty rare. I
quite
would say.
interesting. Yeah. So you seem like somebody who takes pretty good care of yourself, but we want to know, when you're not cutting weight, you don't got to step on the scale for a while. What is your favorite cheat meal you could just eat and you feel like trash afterwards?
God. I don't know. I would just say the eating wise, I would probably just ice cream. Really, like not necessarily cheat meals, but I do like to party once in a while. So I'll go out with some buddies, and that's kind of like my cheat meal. I would say is having
What's
some
the
drink.
go-to ice cream flavor?
I like cookies and cream. If I'm not just a straight, normally it's just straight vanilla, but cookies and cream's pretty good.
And what's the go-to drink when you're going out?
My go-to drink, just a vodka soda. Really, keep it
Classic.
basic, nice and light.
He's a simple
I
man.
get too much sugary shit, then I'm not gonna feel good.
Yeah,
This is true.
very true. Very true. That may be the first time we've ever asked that question, because I feel like a lot of our guys we talk to are like
Are
still in
still
college,
wrestling.
like still got like athletic directors and coaches like in their ear telling them like you can't got to make sure you
Yeah.
don't talk about stuff like that. But we love it. We had another guy that just finished his career, and he was talking about, I like we like asked him what he does outside of wrestling. He's like, I go on the golf course, I enjoy myself, I have a couple beers, and I relax. And I was like, you know what? Great answer, honestly.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's kind of nice. You don't have to worry about all that administration BS anymore. Like,
Mhm.
not a lot of people realize what these athletes got to go through and watch everything day, whatever. Now
Yeah.
it's like, whatever.
Watch like
I'm
pictures you take, like what's in the background of your pictures you post
Yeah.
online and stuff like that. Like, I've heard crazy stories about like athletes have like there's people drinking in the background of their photos, and then next day athletic directors calling, I need you to come into my office, and then it's an issue. Like, I feel like people I feel like the fans realize like you guys are human beings, and that's like why we love doing this and kind of getting to know you guys on like a more personal level, because this is like, you guys are also just college guys. Like, you're 20-year-old, early 20-year-old like guys. What do you think they're doing? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, let's be for real. Like, you don't think they're going out on the weekends and having a good time in the off season? Like, during the season, I'm sure you guys are strict, and I'm sure a lot of you and your teammates, I'm sure during the season, it's very rare you guys get together and have a good time. But I'm sure in the off season, you guys like to hang out and have a few drinks and enjoy yourselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. You guys work your tails off half of the year, can't eat, can't drink, practicing twice a day. Like, this is all stuff that, don't worry about Matthew. This is all stuff that like any human being like wants to do. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's, you guys are held to such a high pedestal that I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Like, UFC fighters get on the hot mic and drop F-bombs and do this and do that. If somebody did that in an NCAA interview, oh Lord, it'd be the end of their career. They'd be done.
Yeah, no doubt.
Everyone's human. You've seen it with Spencer Lee this year. I mean, we're literally just human beings. Maybe we lock it in for 7 months out of the year, but yeah, we're gonna have a little fun. I'm straightforward too. Like, I don't like to hide. People that like act like something they're not. Like, if you're coming onto a podcast and be like, oh, I've never had a drink in my life, and you're low key every Friday or something, you're going and getting wasted on the weekend. It's like, don't do that bullshit in here,
Yeah, keep it transparent.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure.
You're sitting here sipping on a coffee. I'm assuming you like caffeine, being that it's 3:30 in the afternoon. You're having a cup of coffee. Matt also is addicted to caffeine. He's a big coffee guy as well.
Yeah, I'm going to practice at whatever 5:30, whatever. But yeah, I was freaking exhausted.
Little pick me up, a little afternoon pick me up.
Exactly.
Hey, better than a lot of those energy drinks, I'm sure, because there's a ton of stuff you probably can't have, being that you're gonna have to start getting tested and stuff, fighting. I'm sure there's a lot of supplements and stuff that are pretty illegal.
Yeah, we got a doctor and all that stuff that'll, like, he approves whatever. But yeah, I don't really get into energy drinks and a lot of supplements anyways. I take a multivitamins, coffee, and a lot of water.
And that's how you stay into it right there. There's your three. A lot of water, definitely. I'm sure you're sweating a ton out at fighting.
Yeah, I mean, got this right now.
Yeah, man, I'm sure.
Yeah, no
So we asked Pat McKee the question. We'll ask you the question as well. What is your life like outside of wrestling? What are some things you enjoy outside of wrestling, outside of fighting, that you kind of just kick your feet up, or like, what do you do to kind of get your mind off of it?
Lately, I've just been kind of living the life. I've been traveling. I was just down in Florida for a week, and like I said, probably can't talk about more than half the things we did, but we do a lot of golfing. I love it. Like MMA has been my hobby for a while, and now it's my job. But would go and hit mitts, whatever. In the summertime, our buddy Billy down there, he's got a boat, so we do a lot of surfing. Pretty much just hanging out with the boys. I don't really enjoy it. I don't go on vacations or do any of the spring break stuff. I like to be here with my boys and kind of just have fun with them. That's part of college, is just hanging out with your friends and having fun and doing whatever, really. I just go with the flow.
Yeah, man. Pat McKee did say that a lot of people think you guys spend too much time together. So he said me and Blockhus might spend a little too much time together. So
probably his girlfriend probably gets a little annoyed, but also like we kind of fight for whoever can get the time with them.
Whoever could get the time with Pat, man. And let me tell you, Pat said he's having a rough time, but we're excited, man. His mental, let me tell you, something crazy. That kid's brewing a national championship next year. I'm telling you. He let me hear it here first. I might say call me a bandwagon or whatever, but let me tell you, if when the video comes out, the way that kid talked about just everything that went on in his life and how next year is just going to be, he dumps all of that into one season, and I'm super. And he's going to be healthy. He's going to have a good, fully working knee that he'll be able to get in positions he wasn't able to be in and stuff like that. So I'm sure you're excited to see what Pat's going to do next year.
Yeah, and I've known for the last couple of years, which not a lot of the fans know. I mean, he probably, I don't know if he said it or not, but he's had a hurt knee even when he came back.
3 years he's had it, yeah.
He demolished all them kids. He's strong as hell. Now imagine a good, healthy knee, whatever, and he's training full force. He's going to smash everybody that's in his way, and I 100% believe it. I'll be there.
He said, break the chains. That's what he said. He said, break the chains. He's coming, he said. He put everybody in the country on notice. One of the first things he said, he's like, I want to let everybody know out there that I'm coming to win a national title next year.
Amen. I'll be there to watch it.
That's your brother, man. And we've learned so much. Like, it's like you're from Iowa, he's from Minnesota. You guys might have ran into each other a couple times in high school at those big time tournaments, but it's crazy to see how guys can just meet and become instant brotherhood. And I think wrestling is pretty much one of the only sports. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the college kids get together, but I feel like wrestling is just so little drama. Because you guys it's one of those sports where it's like you guys are going to war. You're literally
struggling together.
You are physically going out there to put another man to his back and win a match. And there's no sport like that.
No, for sure. And a lot of it comes out of the practice room, You grind with each other every single day.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. And some of the stuff you might not even be doing wrestling moves. You break out into a full fist fight.
Oh yeah. Yep. I swear. Like, I always wanted to talk about that, but so many people are so they don't want to talk about what goes on in the practice room is whatever. But like, I've seen full out fist fights. I've been in full out fist fights in practice. Matt Rose was in a full out fist fight in wrestling practice. Like
6 a.m.
6 a.m. practice. Matt Rose is in a fist fight. Like
with that guy who does MMA now.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe that's your next calling. Get in there.
Maybe. I was taking him on the chin,
Yeah, Matt's got a good chin. That's about it. But no, I think that's part of the sport. You punch each other in the face, and after practice, guess what? You're going to get food together. Like it's just part of it. Like people don't stay mad at each other forever. And I think the brotherhood that you build wrestling is, you'll be friends with Pat forever. You'll be at each other's weddings. Like this is something that you guys will have. I know Gable, he said that you guys are super close with Gable as well. I'm sure you guys will be friends with Gable, no matter how big he gets in his career, stuff like that. You stick with these people for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And the nice thing about Gable, he's already huge, but he's one of the most humble human beings there is with his boys. That is like outside of that, he does his thing. He's a superstar, but like when it comes to us friends, he's humble with us, and he acts like he's our actual friend, not too big.
We're excited to see him make a world team. And I love how I say make a world team, because in my opinion, I don't think there's anybody in the country that's going to stop him.
He's winning that damn thing this year, and he's been practicing for many. He never stopped,
And that was a big thing. Our friend Caden came down to Minnesota. Caden Henschel, a pretty big YouTuber, and he filmed with Gable. And we didn't know that he was going to wrestle this year, that there was an opportunity for him he was ready and get good on his weight and ready to go against Purdue. So we wish we would have got to see him this year. I think it would have been awesome, but I'm happy he's coming back, and I'm sure he won't be back just this year, but next year's an Olympic year. So I'm sure we'll see him go back out there again next year to defend the gold.
Yeah, he can go win a lot more Olympic golds if he wants.
That's a scary man. That's a really scary dude. Like at what, 22 years old, 21, 22. Like the things that guy's accomplished is it's pretty much. I wonder if he's the youngest Olympic wrestling like gold medalist. I wonder. Probably.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not sure. I mean, Snyder and Cejudo were pretty young too.
Yeah, true. That I didn't think about Snyder. Snyder was really young.
I think he was 19 at his first world medal, so I'm not sure when he won an
Yeah.
Olympic. But
Yeah, it depends, but he's got to be pretty
Either
close.
way,
Yeah, pretty
impressive.
close. Yeah. So we talked so what else do you like to do? You know, what like other than, you said fight, fighting, that's your
Yeah.
big thing. That's your pretty much, it sounds like most of your life the last couple of years has been you wrestling and then fighting when you're not wrestling. So,
Yeah.
how have you kept your body in such good, place where you're at? I mean, it seems like you're healthy. You have not had any huge, injuries, huge setbacks. So how, what do you kind of give credit to keeping yourself, at that healthy spot?
I mean, I'd say I just take care of everything outside of the wrestling room, right? The recovery is one of the most biggest important things that a lot of people just kind of whatever. They don't stretch before practice or get your body warmed up, all this. There's so many little knick-knack things that I do, like sleep and all this stuff, not wearing down your body, and it helps in the long run. I mean, you look at NCAAs and you look at the guys I was next to, they were killers, and a lot of them, they're beat up, they're limping onto the podium, their face is all mangled, and I look like I just haven't even wrestled the tournament yet. It's just, I don't know what it is. Normally, like, I just don't get like that just because, I don't know. I wrestle hard, I'm aggressive, and a lot of people will tell you, like, damn, I hate wrestling that kid. He's a fucking mean. He's not really nice, whatever. And I don't know. I just stay active. I like running. I like doing active things, surfing, and I do a lot of the other thing that I like to do for fun is golf. We golf with my buddies all the time, just having fun, make it competitive, and normally split up into teams that are pretty even. There's a lot of shit talking that goes on.
I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure getting a bunch of guys that want to rip each other's heads off on a golf course is pretty entertaining.
Yeah, and I've seen some clubs get broken or thrown, and it's a good time.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
no doubt, man.
I'm sure. So, been a great time catching up with you, and we're excited for your future. We're super excited to see not just the future of you because just the way you're talking, you could tell that you're going to be a champion one day. You're going to be either Bellator or UFC, wherever that takes you. I know there's two kind of rival companies there, so hopefully somebody knocks on your door and gives you that phone call, and you get the opportunity to go kind of show the world what you're about.
Yeah, we're gonna have to hit up Scott Coker and Dana White, tag him in this, and tell them that there's a prospect on the way, baby.
Blockhus is on the way. He's coming down to Florida. Go kill. And let me say, Killcliff, man, crazy. They're getting loaded down there. They're getting absolutely loaded.
Yeah.
I saw like the picture. I've never seen so many guys in one MMA gym before. Usually it's like, okay, like 20, 30 guys. How many people go there? Like, it has to be over 100.
40 plus.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's got to be almost triple digits.
And
like,
they got
huge
the top
groups.
dogs. Yeah. It's them and American Top Team that are like clashing for the top spot, and they're literally not even that far from each other. They're probably 20-minute drives from both gyms, which is great. Gilbert Burns is about the weekend. He's out of the gym. Mike Chandler. Like, there's so many crazy top guys that not a lot of people realize training down there.
Yeah, man. One final question. This might piss off some of your former Minnesota teammates, but you could take 3 of them with you into the zombie apocalypse. Who would you take and why?
I'm gonna have to bring in some hunters with some good sniper eyes. We'll probably just go camp up on the school. Garrett Joles and Sam Skillings, they hunt every weekend in the fall. And if you go look at any of their social media, it's probably deer hunting and shit.
They both were on Pat's list. Both of them were they were on Pat's list. Is one of them the guy with the pilot license?
Yeah, so hell, fly us to wherever. So, exactly my point. They're just adventurous outdoorsmen, so that's who I would take.
You get one more. Who's your third man?
Two, I guess. Damn. On the team. Maybe I'll take Pat. He's got a little bit of background.
Background, man. And it's funny because we talked to him. The same question I'm going to ask you is, why no Gable? But I really think the answer is who's going to feed him? Who's going to keep Gable fed and going?
He might end up killing one of us, and just who knows? He getting really
like would he be great to have out there? Yes. How you would keep him full? No question. No answer to that. Like,
yeah, we need some smaller guys that can start for a little bit.
yeah. Like especially you weight cutting guys. Like Gable doesn't cut weight. Gable probably hasn't cut weight his whole career. So like I don't think he's ever been close to 285. So
No.
so like he doesn't know what it's like to starve himself. I'm sure he eats clean, but there's never been a weight cut moment where he's like, counting the ounces of the water he's drinking and stuff like that.
Yeah. He's all good.
Yeah, man. It's been another episode of the Heavyweight Nation podcast. Michael, we look forward to seeing, what happens in your future. We're hoping a very bright, successful MMA career comes out of this. And maybe one day we'll have you back on and it'll be UFC champ or Bellator champ, man. We're excited.
Yeah, I appreciate you boys for having me on. Hopefully we'll get you out to one of the fights here soon.
Of course, man. That'd be super exciting. We would love to. Anybody out there having, even if it's small fights, any kind of event like that, we'd love to come out and we'll obviously cover it. Got a good following, get some eyes on on everything that's going on, man. So we'd be super excited to do that. But it's been another episode of the Heavyweight Nation podcast. We'll see you guys later.